to Didi Benkie, who says, it's what you don't know that's going to whack you a lot in the coming days, weeks, and months. We've also got Jonas and Ferris here and Mattie Duppler. All right, Didi, explain.
Well, everyone's going to be taxed because, of course, Obama, he's such a good campaigner, but I think a terrible president because everyone's going to get taxed across.
A really good president.
I don't, because I think it's bad to have a tax code that's progressive as since Carter. It's not good for us because obviously we're not bringing the revenue, we can't sustain it, and we're going to be the USS France sinking. I mean, it is very serious. The deductions, well, that would be a tax, and Obamacare, that's a huge tax, and small businesses are just being crushed. I mean, it's not working because not just the rich, everyone is getting whacked across the board, and that was not what he campaigned on.
Mattie, you talk to a lot of accountants, and it would probably say a lot about me that a lot of my friends are accountants, that they have crunched some numbers for me and come up with that 45% figure once you factor in removed deductions or limited deductions. So if I'm hearing talk that Nancy Pelosi and others say they're not done taxing, they want to move after the rich even more, climbing over 50% is not a big leap, and leaving it just to the rich and thinking that the rest won't be affected, to Didi's point,
right.
There's a lot more to come.
Right, and looking at the Democrats' plans for spending, the president's plan for spending over the next 10 years, we do know that if they want to tax the rich more, they want to take that rate up to 50% or so of the rich's income, there's just not enough money there. They can't pay for these explosive spending levels that they foresee for the next 10 years. So, Didi's right in the sense that they're going to come after new taxpayers if they can't bleed the rich anymore to fund their big government. But the benefit of having the fiscal cliff behind us now is that the argument isn't about taxes. Now we're talking about spending. Republicans, Leader McConnell on the Hill, Speaker Boehner have all said we're done. We've solved this problem of having baselines that are fluctuating every 2 years. We know exactly where we are on the revenue side, and now all the fights need to come on the spending side, and conservatives are in a good position to be talking about size of government and cutting back a lot of the Pelosi, Reid, and Obama spending binge.
I look at these numbers, and Jonas, there's just no way you can get there. Loans that harken back to the Wall Street Journal, that did that piece about you tax everything for the $500,000 and over. Take all their money. It's $1.3 trillion. It doesn't even address the deficit this year. So you have to get more money from other folks, right?
There's no question taxes didn't go up enough to settle the budget hole without major spending cuts. Obama talks about the Clinton years, but they had taxes that were much higher for lower income people, families. These child credits weren't there, they're lower rates. What really is the problem is that it didn't apply to as many people, and it added many more layers of complexity to an already ridiculously complex tax code. As an investment advisor, you have to deal with all these different capital gains rates that were created, new ones now, because now there's an additional 3.6. If you're over this income, there's a 0.9% on ordinary income if you're over this level of income. So you're creating many more brackets, not just for income, but for capital gains, long-term versus short. There's rates from 0, 5, 15, I think there's a 20, there's a 23.9. All for different levels, and then types of income. If you're buying gold, that's taxed at one rate. If you're doing stocks, it's one thing. If you've got partnerships, it's totally complicated and isn't going to raise a lot of money. Versus, it's not the progressiveness of the tax code that's the problem here. It's the multi-layer complexity. You could have a simple progressive tax code that would raise more money and would be easier to deal with. That you just addressed, removing all these deductions in a very complicated, weird way to analyze what the impact is when mortgage deduction going to apply as much as this. It kind of phases out. We already have a phase out. It's called AMT, but that's still, it's just a total.
I think the problem, and Bill Clinton maybe had the best example, he did raise income taxes on the upper, but he lowered a lot of investment-related taxes. So that was enough to impress even Art Laffer, who voted for the guy twice. So I'm wondering whether that is the solution, that if you're going to tax it, fine, okay, I'm not a big fan, but you have to provide a tax cut somewhere else, and that's what's missing here.
Well, there's taxation, and definitely the spending is incredibly just overwhelming. I mean, that's the problem, obviously, the spending problem. And really, I'm very frustrated as a Republican because I would like to see the Republicans be as aggressive, if not more aggressive, than Obama has been about the taxes. Where are they being aggressive? They're not doing it. So I really hope that Boehner and company, they will come up and cut the spending, because that's obviously the big problem. As far as the taxes, everything, businesses, if they're crushed, they're just going to leave our country. We're going to make businesses leave left and right. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. So we can't have that. We have to be business-friendly, capitalistic society.
Mattie, the test will be this debt ceiling fight, or 4 or 5 weeks out, this extension of the sequestration cuts and what they do with that. Maybe both occur at the very same moment. But I don't see anything encouraging in Republicans' behavior, which leads me to believe they'll risk another fight with the president.
Well, I disagree with you there, because we're in a much stronger position. Fiscal cliff, if nothing happened, President Obama and the Democrats got their tax hike. The inertia was against us at that point. Now we're wading into a fight where Obama wants more spending. Senator Reid wants more spending, and we're not about to give it to them. They need signing off on the debt limit, on extended funding to continue to do that.
Republicans kind of folded like cheap suits on that. But it was, I don't care on the left or right, Jonas, we are, but it was 40-to-1 tax hikes over spending cuts. What's balanced this time? 20-to-1?
But it wasn't enough. I disagree that the bottom 98% of the income distribution is getting overtaxed. They're getting complex taxed. There's a lot of work you got to do to get your rate down. Essentially nothing.
You're for screwing them more.
I'm for screwing the bottom 90% at a simple higher level.
There you go. I admire that. All right, guys, thank you very much. In the meantime, this